The Bourbon Baron here. Welcome to Sticks-n-Stonez. As usual, I got some sort of technology problem. Won't go live on X for me. So you're getting it on Instagram and on Rumble and on YouTube. So I'm going to try to send the folks on X another message and tell them you're going to have to go somewhere else if you want to see the episode. So anyway, I do have a great show lined up for you today. I am pairing Tullibardine, 15-year-old. I think I may have actually put 12-year-old on the title. Yeah, been a little helter-skelter here. But anyway, I'm pairing that. That is a single malt Highland Scotch with the EP Carrillo Essence Maduro. So I'm also trying to get the TV working here too. You know, I'm constantly multitasking, even though they say you technically can't multitask. I don't know. I do a pretty good job of not doing it, I guess then, because I'm constantly doing it, working way more things than I should be. But anyway, we're going to get fired off here. It is a great show. If you watched my other podcast yesterday, I did this. This is my test pairing. So so I'm all primed and ready for it. Yeah, it's constantly problems. Constantly problems. I don't have time for it. Okay. It's just I get, and there's no way to like test stuff before I do it. So it has to like go live and then says, oh, by the way, you're not gonna be able to do it on X. Do you want to keep going? So what are you gonna say? No. The other ones are waiting. So like I said, it's just this constant technology problems. Nothing wants to work the way it's supposed to work. You know, you've heard me complain for a long time. At Rumble, YouTube, I think that's it. Rumble and YouTube. Yeah. So hopefully everybody doesn't just walk away and be like, oh, F this. He's rattling on too much about his technology problems, but I just got to get this fixed before I go. So, all right, there we go. Should be good. We'll see. Welcome to this edition of Sticks-n-Stonez. I am your host, the lovable Bourbon Baron, one of my aliases. I have become a fan of EP Carrillo here of late. I hadn't really tried them that much until they started coming out with, you know, you had like the Pledge and the La Historia and, you know, those. And so I started trying them and I'm like, man, these are some good cigars. I wanted to get some more of these. So I did. And this is one that popped up. But we'll start with we don't want to start with the cigar. We won't start with this. We won't start with Tullibardine. Tullibardine there's been distillation going on there, or brewing, started in like 1488. And there for a while, here recently, it was shut down. But in 2003, they fired back up again. And this particular spirit is one of the best, most well-aged releases that they've ever had. It was wonderful yesterday. And it was matured entirely in first fill bourbon casks. There's going to be, I know, lots of like creamy and honeyness kind of thing going on. But here it is, glassed up. It's a nice, beautiful golden color, kind of a medium golden color. It's not light, but it's not real heavy and dark. It's got a really, really great nose on it. There's lots of sweetness coming off of it, kind of a barley kind of sweetness. There's some floral notes in there. There's also a little bit of fruit like apple and maybe the kind of baking spices, a little bit of cinnamon and well, like apple crumble kind of stuff, and maybe a little custard for really nice creaminess. On the palate. You do get lots of kind of honeyed malt. You're getting a really good sweetness with the maltiness of the barley mixed in there together. There's some again like creamy kind of custard. I think over there they would call it porridge. But then there's also some like some mixed berries. Can't really pick out that it's one particular berry, but just kind of those berry fruits. And a little bit of a really nice like sponge cake that's a little damp. I love that. It's really awesome. The finish, I get something along the lines of maybe caramelized nuts, maybe a little bit of toffee kind of thing. There's also a little bit of spicy oak and maybe a little bit of tropical fruit on the finish. Something like a mango. It's not a real pungent like a pineapple, but really delicate. Yeah, it is really a really great spirit. It's got a medium length finish to it. It doesn't last too long, but it doesn't just completely go away right after you finish enjoying it on your palate. I've really become a fan, like I said, of the EP Carrillos of Tullibardine. I think I've got like 4 bottles of Tullibardine right now of their various offerings, and it's a really good spirit and it's really economical. For a single malt 15-year-old, you're talking. I think I spent like $70-$80, I think, something like that. So not bad at all. But now the EP Carrillo, this is the Essence, and it is as it says, it's a Maduro. This is the newest addition to the EP Carrillo line, and it kind of explores the importance of the wrapper. In a cigar blend. Wrapper, even though that's only one leaf that cloaks the outside of it, and you got all the leaves that are inside of it, the wrapper does play a very critical part in the enjoyment of a cigar. This is a medium-bodied cigar with, it has a Honduran binder wrapped around Nicaraguan long fillers with, my favorite, Mexican San Andres wrapper. I love the San Andres. Now they call this a Robusto. I might be able to take them on their word on the length, but that's really thin to be a 50 on the ring gauge, and I'm almost thinking more like 48, close, but still. But visually, it is a beautiful stick that is just a really, really dark chocolate brown. It has minimal to moderate veining. There are a couple of veins that are pretty pronounced, and there's some that are almost invisible. It does have visible seams, but they are very tight, and it's a very well put together cigar. And it has a really large, you can pick up that line there, right about there, double cap. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to explore this stick. On the nose, you get a really rich barnyard note off of the nose just right away. You get something along the lines of raisins and maybe a little bit of kind of woody notes, maybe some cedar, a little bit of damp earth. It's a really great smelling cigar. It has a great nose on it. Probably sounds better, but It's been so cold here lately, my fingers aren't even working right, even though it's 60 right now. Not my best V cut, but it's okay. On the cold draw. I get some more barnyard, but I also get some hints of cinnamon and maybe something along the line of some prunes. We don't really want what goes along with the prunes, but you know, you got the kind of the taste of fruit. So it's something along the lines of a raisin. All right, let's go ahead and get this stick fired up. Oh, not my microphone. Sorry, it's a professional operation. Can't you tell? I would say it's my production crew, but I am the production crew. We toast up the cigar to get it very evenly burning on the tip, down on the foot. That way you are really getting the most enjoyment out of all of the different leaves that are in there. And then that also helps with the burn as you continue to partake in your cigar. It does help keep it even. Some great smoke that comes off this stick. To be as small as it is, it's a really good smoke producer. I get some like charred oak notes. I don't know what the hell's going on over there. That's not part of the No Shoes Bar and Grill. I get some charred like oak notes, you know, probably from the bourbon barrels. Uh, Forget that. Not from the bourbon barrels. I'm getting some good charred oak notes. I'm trying to mix my stuff up here. That's why if I try to just wing it, I sometimes screw it up. Uh, but you also get some hints of chocolate, which is kind of indicative of the Mexican San Andres. There's some really good chocolate notes on just about every San Andres leaf I've smoked. You get a little bit of a kind of a citrusy tang on the retro inhale and mixed in with some black pepper. Let's try them together. The mouthfeel of the spirit, along with its kind of uh, fruity and florally notes, blend really well with the chocolate and the wood on the stick. One doesn't really like overtake the other. It's almost like the spirit helps the smoke travel throughout your palate. Blowing the smoke in the glass really doesn't do anything. I like it, and the way I see it is I'm holding the smoke in my mouth as long as possible before the spirit hits my tongue. So kind of get the full effect, I guess you'd say. And the kind of the caramelized nuts on the finish mix really well with the chocolatey off the spirit. I know I'm just kind of wandering all over the place. It's been kind of a rough week. That's about all I can say. Yeah. That's all I can say. I can tell you, I got in when I got these. I also got some of the Macanudo emissaries. I'm really excited to try those. But I was going to start off with this. I'm also starting to kind of get close to the 650 cigar limit in my cigar cabinet. I've got, I think, 6 boxes on the bottom in the bottom drawer, and then the other 2 drawers probably have 50 to 75 in each of those, just individual, mostly 5-pack, whatever's left over from 5-packs. I try to buy 5-packs, especially on things I haven't tried before. I don't want to commit to a full box and don't want to try and go pay the single stick price. And you can usually, a lot of cigars, you can pick up 5-pack, whether it's, Cigars International, Thompson, JR Cigars, all those places. You can find 5-packs of most things. Occasionally you have to go and buy an individual stick, but so far I haven't had any here lately that I've really been too suspect on, but I'm just not willing to commit to a full box. That's expensive. And this is a very mellow smoke. It is a really wonderful spirit that's got a nice mouthfeel to it. It doesn't have a tremendous amount of alcohol burn to it. Yeah, I mean, these do very well together. Very well. I'm hoping we don't end up with tariffs on Scotch. That would be bad. Considering that's the only place you can get it. I mean, Japanese have their, what do they call it, malt whiskey? Because you can't use the word Scotch unless it was distilled and aged in Scotland. That is the law. And Scotland will come after you if you try to make a whiskey outside of Scotland. They call it Scotch. That is their policy. It's like you've got American whiskey, you've got Texas whiskey, you've got Tennessee whiskey. And of course, all of these can have bourbon too. They just can't have Kentucky bourbon unless you got Kentucky bourbon. So you got all those kinds of whiskeys here in the U.S. Then you have Japanese, Canadian, all these kind of things. But Scotch, only place you can get it, Scotland. And unless you go to some blended whiskeys that you might not have ever heard of, which there are some good ones, they're pretty expensive. I really liked, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right or not, but Shieldag or Sheldag. It is a very inexpensive Scotch. I don't think they do their own distilling. They take distillate from other distillers and they blend it to get what they want. It's actually a pretty good whiskey. And you can buy like a 1.75 of it for like $30. It's actually pretty good. Yeah, I think I have a few people out there. If you're just checking in, we have the EP Carrillo Essence, a Robusto that I don't really think is a Robusto. It's rather thin on the ring gauge for my cigar measuring skills. But I think maybe a 48, 49, something like that. It's close. But it's a really good stick. It's got a Mexican San Andres wrapper on it. It's got some great charred wood notes in it with some hints of chocolate. And then you've got the Tullibardine 15-year-old single malt Scotch that has some really great sweeter notes and florally notes on it. Some honey, some malt, some custard, and some berries. Maybe a little bit of sponge cake. Love cake. I really thought about breaking out the podcasting equipment, recording an episode, because I really haven't uploaded an episode to Spotify in a while. Because these get saved in Rumble, and I can download them and strip the audio out of it, but it doesn't work very well. And I don't like having to set up multiple things, like set up my podcast board and the things that go in my ears, the microphone. I got this. I got the microphone for it. It's a lot of stuff to deal with. I really like to do it. I've searched and searched and searched, trying to find some way that I could do this all in one thing. It's just not out there. Maybe I need to come up with something like that. Maybe it would allow me to retire early. It's a really nice little stacks of ash going. It's good. It's a great cigar. One that I am highly anticipating is the new aging room, Bohemian or Bohemia. I can't remember if there's an N on the end of it or not. I think there is. But my buddy Rafael Nodal, he keeps posting his pictures of him holding it with his espresso or his little latte, whatever it is, the palm trees and the sunrise, wherever he is that day. He's really been doing a great job of it, and he's just taking pictures and posting them on social media. It's free. Great advertising. I can't wait till I see it. Every time I go to the cigar shop, I'm looking to see if it's there. I'm not really getting a whole lot of change in the cigar as we're getting closer to the halfway mark, other than maybe some of that citrus that was on the retro inhale is now coming down onto the palate. Just a little bit of kind of thing, It's a good eye opener. I love the little video of the boxer at the beach, little boxer puppy, and they've given it a lemon. Not really supposed to have lemons, but anyway, it's a funny video. And that dog will get it in his mouth, and of course it'll bob its head up and down, and it paws around. It loves that lemon. And the person that's recording the video is just laughing their tail off. I love that little video. It's cool. Anyway. And if you've never had Tullibardine, maybe you've never even heard of it, you may just walk right past it on the Scotch aisle at your local package store. You definitely need to stop in on the Tullibardine section and take a look at what they've got. They've got some really, really great spirits. They make an excellent Scotch. I'd have to go back and look and see exactly how long they were closed when they reopened in 2003. But I can't think of anybody. Maybe the Dalmore. I'd have to go back and look. But the Dalmore may be older, but I'm not thinking so. It could be like 1486 or 1466 or something like that. But this is one of the oldest I can recall seeing. And they've been distilling at this same place since 1488. So let's see, 1988 would have been 500 years. So they're somewhere right in that range, depending on how long they were closed down. If you got that kind of lineage, you're obviously doing something right. Hang on. My wife has, Mrs. Sticks-n-Stonez has our princess, Sadie, out at the woods. It's a park that's just like, it's all woods, and they cut trails through it, but that's all they do. They don't clean anything up. There's, you know, it's just nature. There's hardly ever anybody out there, and so she'll take Sadie out, and she'll just take a walk through the woods, and she'll let Sadie off her leash and let her run. She don't go very far. She's a lab. She's got to stay with her pack. And every so often, she'll look back and be like, "Hey, are you back there?" And if you're not, she'll come back, try and find you. She didn't go far. Probably have some pictures of her posted around. There's been a few times I've done this, and I'll let her out here. In the summertime, she's a swimmer. She went swimming just the other day. Yeah, it was like 45 degrees outside. The water was probably not much cooler than that, or not much warmer than that. And she just hops right on in. Swims around, makes her a big lap, gets out, shakes off. Like, Sadie, wait till summertime. You know, it's cold. But yeah, I love my dog. My mom says it's probably the most spoiled dog that she's ever seen. She is treated like a princess. My wife and I were, I call us retreads, because we were married once before, not to each other, and she's like our child. So we've got 4 kids, 6 kids if you count the 2 that we had to kind of take under our wing. So, but this is the one that we have together. And we have them from 36 to 14. And then you had Sadie, who's 4, which is 28 in dog years. So she'll be 5. Hard to believe she's going to be 5 in April. That's 35. This stick is really mellowing out, and I'm starting to kind of get some notes of almost like an almond croissant with a little bit of chocolate in it. Chocolate comes from the St. Andrews wrapper. Man, it's a really nice transition, and it really bodes well with blended with this Scotch that has so many sweet and floral notes on it. I am a Highland Speyside guy. I know I've never had a Campbellton, however they say it. It's spelled Campbelltown, one word. I don't know that I've had a Lowland. I need to dig into and pull out some of those, because I think there's can't remember the name right now, but there's some Lowlands out there. And then you have the Islays, which is what a lot of the purist Scotch drinkers really like. That's not me. I'm a low smoke, low peat guy. I don't mind a little smoke, a little peat, something like a Johnny Walker 15-year-old, which is a blended Scotch. But like Lagavulin, everybody's been crazy about it. I took one sip. To me, it literally tasted like somebody had mixed up ashes from a fire and gave it to me to drink. No, not me. About the only Islay that I've had that I just really loved is the Bruichladdich Classic Laddie. That's a good Scotch. Yeah. And very distinctive. You don't have to worry about missing it on the Scotch aisle. The bottle is baby blue. I mean, like more blue than this, more baby blue than that. It stands out. You can't miss it. If you do, you've had too much to drink before going there. But yeah, it's a great Scotch to come from Islay. It does have some smoke and peat in it, but it's a very subtle smoky and peatiness. And if you watch I think it may have been on Vizio, the Vizio, I don't know what you call it, channel, app, whatever. And it was something like Scotch, the Golden Drink, or something like that. And it is a documentary about the master distiller that they brought out of retirement to resurrect the Brooklotic name. I don't think it was really the Brooklotic name. I think it was the distillery that they were opening back up, and it was becoming Brooklotic. It's been a while since I've watched it. But it's kind of his journey through making this spirit. And the Classic Laddie was the first one that they like launched, and it shot right to the top at the the various world liquor competitions and stuff. And at the end of it, he's at the distillery, but he's sitting out on a bench by the water, and he's retiring again. He was at that time like 75, and he was retired then for a couple of more years. And the last I heard, he was back in the Scotch business. He started his first job in the Scotch business at 14. "60 years of making Scotch." That's somebody that is dedicated to whiskey. Well, look, I'm not going to hold y'all up anymore. I'm kind of doing these a little different way where, I do the beginning, and then I do the halfway mark, and I do, this is the finish on it. Basically, you can see what I got off the initial, kind of gave you the changes that came about the halfway mark, and I'll let you just discover the rest for yourself. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it, even though I had tech problems. I'll be doing it again. Hopefully, this is not a false spring, and we're not going to have another snowstorm. Snowstorm, it was more just like cold. It snowed a little bit, not a lot. But I definitely will be trying to do these a little more often now that hopefully it's warming up and going to stay that way, So, but until we get to be together again, keep your sticks dry. Sticks dry, stones cold. Have a great day.